What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Diamond is Unbreakable. This episode was amazing. We learned actually a lot about Kira. We saw his dad and his involvement in it. Of course, he too is a stand user, or well, maybe not necessarily a stand user, but he definitely has special abilities that's going to make him a bit of a pain in the ass for Josuke and the crew. We also saw Kira's new form, which. Okay, I gotta talk. Okay, let me talk about his hair, cause Kira's new hair, like the new look he's rocking right now, it looks really weird. Like, I think what David Productions was trying to go for was a look that he had hair gel on, because when you see the hair, like there's pointed that's spiking upwards, but there's most of it is like downwards, you know. And there's even a line later on in the episode that says, where like his landlord said, "Oh, is all that hair gel starting to get into your head?" I think what they were trying to emulate was a look of hair gel, but since I feel like they couldn't get it right. I felt like maybe it was a little bit like his hair was a little bit more reflective. They had some I don't know, white spots or something to emulate reflection. I think that would have made his hair look a little bit cleaner and a little bit better in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else felt like that, but I just felt Kira's new look he has rocking right now, with the new face and everything, looks a little off. I hope I'm not the only one that thinks that. So without further ado, let's get into this week's episode. Alright, so we start those off. We actually, we have this woman. She's pretty much giving her life story about how she met her husband, kind of what everything went down with it. And I'm just kind of sitting here being like, wait, what? Who? What's going on here? Was there some time skip I was unaware of? Because at first I legit thought there was like some time skip. She says, I met him when I was in community college. He was one of the more ritzier colleges, but I felt superior when I was in his arms, yada, yada, yada. We had a kid, yada, 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 yada. My life is boring. I don't know what love is, yada, 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 yada. Typical shit. And then we see her husband open up, which, of course, is indeed Kira. And so we see him fiddling around with the keys, trying to figure out which door it is. I forget what the names were on the mailbox. Excuse me. I forget what the names on the mailbox said. What's Kira's new name? But he gets in there. He's like, "I'm home." So we all knew that yes, this is indeed Kira. Now at first I was like, wait, was there some time skip to Kira have a kid with this one? But I think what actually happened is this was the life of the dude Kira, who took his face and fingerprints and face and fingerprints and hair and he just kind of walked into his life. I'm assuming that's what's actually happening right now with this. I'm assuming that's what's happening with this. So he walks in there. He's like, I'm home. Kira doesn't change his voice at all. He literally just uses his normal voice, which. Wouldn't that kind of set her off? Like, hey, he doesn't sound like my husband, but Grant, she's probably so bored and desperate for some action, she just doesn't give a shit at this point. I don't know, whatever the case may be. Whatever. So he kind of looks around, at the table. He's like, where's dinner? Oh, hi, I didn't even see you coming in. I didn't have time to make dinner, so that'll have to do, but it's your favorite. And it's instant ramen. and she said, I bet he's pissed. Let's see if he's man enough to do anything about it. Nah, he'll probably just sit there eating in silence like he always do. And then Kira turns on the radio. Money, jumping. That whole radio. And then starts cutting up green onions. And then cracks 3 eggs, and her mom's like, hey man, what you doing over there? As Kira's over there making some eggs. So then we head over back with Josuke and the crew. They finally went to Kira's house to look around for evidence, see if they could find anything on Kira. And so they kind of just looking around, looking for stuff. They can't really find nothing just yet. So they're still kind of looking around, looking for Jotaro opens up this little compartment, or this little drawer I should say, and it has an album there. And we see a bunch of his flowback from his childhood, when Kira was a kid. And we find out he was born to older parents. And by older, I mean people that look like they're in their 50s and 60s. Like legit, these parents were fucking old, man. Like I don't know about people having kids in their 50s or 60s, but to each their own. To each his own. To each his own. Anyway. And we find out that Kira always tried his best to stay in the shadows, stay out of the spotlight, never really bring attention to himself. Like, you look at his trophies, they're all third place. In every photo he's in, you can definitely see he's not trying to bring attention to himself. He wants to make sure that, he just kind of stays in the shadow and stays out of trouble. So, of course, he can get away with killing and nobody really suspects him as the killer. So, and he's like, okay, and so, Josuke tells him, so what you're trying to say is that we reached a dead end. Yep. Well, and I was trying to see look, if we can maybe find some hobbies or interests. He's like, hobbies, huh? Well, I found some weird jars in this drawer here, and it's like, they're like, I forget what exactly he said. It was something flakes. And, on top of the jar, they all had dates on them, 1986, 1999, other stuff. And, yeah, and so the guy, picks it up and then opens up the little top part of it and kind of just puts them in his hand. And then Josuke guy looks at it, finds a nail clipper, he's like, oh, those are his nail, those are fingernail clippings. And he's like, and Josuke's like, oh, God! Because at first he kind of smelled it, he's like, oh, God, this shit smells rancid. And then he just gets out of the way. He's like, oh my God, what are those? Are those from his victims? And then Josuke looks at the little journal he has. And he's like, calm down, those aren't from his victims. Those are all his own. And he legit was keeping, and then he has all these details in the journal about each individual fingernail, its legs and everything. And there's this one part where he looks at it, where it says, they've grown over 30 centimeters, keep up the good work, nobody can stop you. And I forget the exact wording Jotaro used here, but it was the same as Jewish merchants would use sunspots to predict economic prosperity. I'm guessing, and Kira would use this for his readiness when he was ready to kill. His readiness to kill. And they started off in 1986, I believe the year was, which was a year Remy died, or was killed, I should say. So they started there, and they kind of just started growing from here. And then you look at 1999, they've already grown over 27, which I think, I'm not really sure how this is working, so I don't know if that means the longer they grow, the more ready he is to kill someone. So if they let go 30 centimeters, it's alright, it's time to kill somebody. Or I don't know exactly how this is supposed to work. So maybe y'all can clarify exactly how these fingernail things work. Is what Kira was using these for. Tell me down below. They hear a camera go off, and so they say, okay, and they know that there's somebody here, and they're like, okay, who's here? And they think that Josuke was maybe it's a partner, and Jotaro says no. Kira was too cautious to have a partner. Too many loose ends, he could rat him out. No way in hell he would have a partner. And so, we see the photo, and in the photo is Josuke, Jotaro, and Kira's father. Just kind of sitting in the corner, just sitting in the back corner over there of the room. And we also find out he died from an illness, and then his mom died soon after that. I forgot to mention that in the little thing earlier, but yeah. So Kira's dad is through just a lingering spear here to back up Kira when he needs it. So he gets Deadly Queen, heart attack, and his dad to back him up when he has to kill somebody. Oh man, Kira, you got a good team on your hands there, brother. And so they're like, okay, he must be in the same situation as Remy, where he's stuck between the world of the living and the dead, but he's just kind of stuck in a photograph. And so they're kind of just wondering what to do, and then the phone starts ringing. They don't realize, oh, bro, what, you trying to give us the willies with your freaking ghost shit? And the phone keeps ringing, and then he answers the phone, so it's oh, answer the damn phone, slacker! And then literally throws the phone right at Josuke, nails him right by the chin, and he gets down to the ground. Falls down to the phone falls to the ground. It kind of breaks up a little bit. It doesn't fully break up, but the top part of the phone comes off. Anyway. Oh man. So And so he kind of goes off about, like, saying, Billy, how I can control anything, and that I will not let you guys stop my son, that I will murder you till you guys don't let my son. If you're gonna come after my son, then Josuke's like, wait, bro, do you not know of the crimes your son has committed, man? He's committed mass murder. He's a serial killer. Granted, he ain't like one of those other serial killers that rape their victims or do God knows what to their, or like, decapitates them and leaves their body parts in the fridge and do God knows what with them. Like, this ain't not Jeffrey Dahmer, nobody. Thank God, at least. Anyway. So he tells me, I'm gonna kill you if you guys go after my son. And then Josuke's like, okay, if you're stuck at the photograph, let's just rip it up. That should be the end of you. Which I thought that was going to be a little too easy. Like, I was like, come on, it won't be that easy to do that. So they go over. So he rips out the front, but instead the damage is also inflicted on Josuke and Jotaro, where like they're like different parts of their body kind of come off, and they would almost get red shit. So thankfully they got for Josuke's Shining Diamond attack. Shining Diamond where he can fix up objects, fix up the paper, and fix up the picture, and everything is good. Then Okuyasu and Koichi come in, and then they're like, "Huh, Ghost? What's going on?" And they're about to go in, but Josuke stops them. So the guys stay right there, and so Josuke tries another way to get rid of him. So he has Okuyasu use the hand and take care of the photo that way. So I think what he was trying to do was make sure he can get him out of the photo using the hand. Or something along those lines, maybe just get rid of the photo entirely. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, whatever. So Okuyasu comes charging towards them, but instead he ends up just landing to the glass window on the other side of the room, that's right next to the room they're in, and he just sent flying into that. He's like, "What the? How did I get all the way over here?" And Koichi tries to go there, but when he puts his hands into the doorway, his hands appear on the other side. And Koichi's like, "Oh my God, what is going on here? What is this?" So he's kind of freaking out, and he just puts his hands back in there because he's like, "Oh, that's some freaky shit." And then Kira Fox explains that this is indeed the work. That's like his power. I wouldn't say his stand, because he doesn't have a stand, but this is his power, where this is actually where the force field is, which Josuke can't even break. So Josuke and Jotaro can't get in, or can't get out. Okuyasu and Koichi can't get in. So this is the edge of the picture, the edge of the picture that's on there. And so so no one can get in or out. And then Koichi kind of puts his hand back into the force field, and then we see he just pulls it right back. I love Koichi, man. So, and so Josuke's like, "Hey Jotaro, you got ideas, man? We're kind of screwed here." He's like, "Sorry, Josuke, I'm going to have to throw in the towel on this one." And he's like, "What? Have you completely lost your mind? Why?" And he's like, "Star Platinum can stop time, but that would be pointless here." And Josuke's freaking out. He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Why are you throwing in the towel? What the hell?" And then he gets right next to the camera, and it's like, one way to make sure that we can defeat him is that he's in the picture all by himself. So he literally puts Kira's dad picks up a knife this time and literally decapitates Kira and Jotaro and Josuke, I should say, in the picture. Then the knife comes hurling towards Josuke, which Josuke can't deflect or anything, because Shine Diamond's hands just go right through it. So yeah. So I love this part, man. So Jotaro just kind of puts a photo right next to the camera, right to the area where Kira's dad is, and then another picture comes up where it's just him, where he's just in the picture by himself, and everyone celebrates. It's like, "What the? How did you found a way around my powers?" And he's like, "Josuke, why don't you take good care of this man? Why don't you put a little style on there? He's like, oh right, guess you're not so big and bad after all, huh? Anyway, and so he kind of like, so then the camera not the camera, excuse me, the photo kind of like goes up in the air. He's like, I will make sure you never find what is in this house. And so he's about to go over the camera, start planting the steroids, and then he grabs and then, oh my god, I love JoJo's, man. So he grabs the phone, he's like, well now, we're gonna need you to play nice while we're looking around for something that you clearly don't want us to fight. That's why you're fighting us with so much fervor, right? As he slowly starts to bend the photo in half until he just slams them together, wraps it in tape, and then puts a thumbtack to it to the wall. And he says, Koichi Okuyasu, look at this room, Jostaro and I will look at this, or Josuke and I will look at this room. So they kind of look around, and and he's like, help! Please, I can't breathe in here! Help! Help! And Koichi's like, Okuyasu, he's like, he's pulling your leg, man, don't listen to him. It's like, please, just a little bit of air. It's like, I don't know, Okuyasu. I'm claustrophobic, so I kind of know what the guy is going through. and then he's like, oh, you want some air to breathe? He's like, just unlock me, you damn slackers. Oh, it seems like you caught your breath. Here you go, and then he just more thumbtacks to it, just that insult to injury. I thought that shit was fucking hilarious, man. That part had me dying there, man. And it's like, aha, thumbtacks, eh? Well, then you also don't know that this is the part that's all part of this will be the key to my escape. And then, wait, what? Huh? And then kind of like, and then he's like, and then Josuke says, I'm not Josuke, Okuyasu starts hitting us like, hey, old man, what the hell are you talking about? And then Okuyasu tells, or Koichi tells Jotaro that he got out. They mentioned that Kira's father managed to get out. So then he takes the thumbtacks out of the wall, and then he slightly opens the tape a little bit. Then the whole photo just kind of opens up together, and he now has this like string, and he just kind of sends it flying into the wall. He's like, "Ha ha! This was a battle of wits, my boy, and you lost! Ha ha ha! I will make sure you don't fight it." And so he goes into the wall. Josuke opens up this bottom drawer of this dresser. We find another bow and arrow. So yes, there was actually two bow and arrows. Actually, not just the one that Inaba had that somehow Okuyasu's brother managed to get a hold of that went to the other guy, and it's finally in the Speedway Foundation. There's two copies. Well, technically, there's probably most likely multiple copies, but for now, it's just two. And so he grabs just the arrow. He doesn't grab the bow itself. He just grabs the arrow. It's like, this is the arrow that brought forth Deadly Queen. I know, and yes, I know the actual name is Killer Queen. I've mentioned this before a couple of times, but I'm just gonna keep calling it Deadly Queen because I honestly prefer it over Killer Queen. I honestly prefer it over Deadly Queen, in my personal opinion. I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, no, Killer Queen's better because of the Queen reference. The Queen's my favorite band or something. Not to say Queen fans out there, I do enjoy a couple Queen songs, but I'm gonna stick to Deadly Queen. Anyway, so he kind of leaves, then attaches like the string he had, which was from his little PJs he was wearing, onto this crow and just starts flying off. And Okuyasu's like, damn it, he beat us. He's like, no, Okuyasu, you outsmarted him. He's definitely Kira's father. And so they go leave. Then we get to back to Kira's dad. And so he's flying the bow, or he's flying the crow, and it's like, oh, Yoshikage, you could never submit, you could never hold out your urges to kill women even when you were a child. But if that makes you happy, I'll support you because that is my duty as a parent. I mean, your kid's a serial killer, man! But whatever. To each his own, I guess. To each his own. So, anyway. To each his own. So anyway, so then the bird shits and then lands right on the mailbox of Kira's new place. And so he's in the shower. The cat is meowing at the window like, And then his wife finally realizes, and she opens the door. He's like, "Oh my God, bro! Could you not get inside? Were you out there all night? Because you couldn't get inside?" And so she grabs the cat, and then she opens up the bathroom. It's like, "We need to talk." And Kira's in the shower, and the cat is going apeshit because as we know, cats don't like water. And so he's like using actual. We also find that Kira's using an actual razor instead of a razor instead of an electric razor, which always got her husband razor burn, but he's now using just a normal razor. And then like, oh, and then he talks about the cat. He's like, "Oh, I was not thinking. And so he's like, I wasn't thinking. So I'm sorry. It won't happen again." And then Kira, then after that whole little spiel, we get to the final part of the episode. Oh man, where the landlord is asking for his rent. Where's my money? Rent. I'm sorry, I had to put some Spider-Man references in here. I mean, come on, we're talking about Red. You can't talk about Red without Mr. Dinkovich. Anyway, so the landlord, whoever called Mr. Dinkovich, is asking for the rent. He's not asking for this month, but he's also asking for last month's rent. And so his wife tells like, "Hey, get the money from the safe. You have the combination." And then you just see Kira. He's like, "Oh shit, I don't know the combination." And then you could just hear him kind of like breathing a little heavier. He's like, he's probably like, "Oh shit, what am I gonna do?" So he walks downstairs. He's like, "My apologies. I seem to be a little short for cash at the moment. I'm sure you understand that." "Ha! You young deadbeats! I should have known you young deadbeats weren't rich enough to afford my beautiful home. Learn to live within your boundaries." And then we see Deadly Queen kind of flick this little thing on his back that kind of opens it up a bit, and he steals the dude's money. He's like, you must heard me. I said I was short for cash. I have no more than I think he said like 500,000 yen. So I only have enough rent money for this month's rent last month and the next 2 months in advance. Will that suffice?" And they just hands the money back to him. He's like, "Oh yes, that will do swimmingly." And so he just runs out. He's like, "Thank you." And then his wife shows. He's like, "Wait, I know you stole that money, so don't even try to say you didn't. Why, most people who would see their part of doing this would be horrified, but the way he did it, the way he stole it, it's like I'm falling in love with him for the first time." And then you see her blushing, and that's how the episode ends. And this is when I really notice how weird Kira's hair looks in here, because when when Kira's slowly moving over to turn around, and you see his hair moving, it just looks so off. Now, I get it. I think with David Productions was trying to emulate hair gel with this, but since it's not really reflective, it just looks off. I know I mentioned this earlier at the beginning of the episode, but seriously, does anyone else think that Kira's hair looks a little weird? I don't know if that's just me or not, but that is where the episode ends. Overall, love this week's episode. Granted, and he also said that one thing I almost forgot to say. Kira's dad said when he was making his escape that I'm going to make more enemies for these guys to face. So what I think is going to happen for the next few episodes, is that we're going to go back into the Monster of the Week formula that was throughout all of Diamond is Unbreakable. But I think I think I like this more than the original stuff. Now, granted, I never said what I mean by that is, you guys watch my reviews. You guys know I love the early part of Diamond is Unbreakable. But what I mean by that is where this actually seems to have more of a purpose rather than here's different monsters, here's different stand users, let's go, just different stand users. Because you guys, if you guys ever ask me honestly, like, what is my favorite part of JoJo, I'm going to say Stardust Crusaders. Not only for the supporting cast, it's mostly due because yes, it was predominantly a Monster of the Week, and Dio didn't really come out to like the very end of it, but there was always a purpose. Dio was always this looming force in the background that was always there. Well, here, Kira didn't get introduced till much later on in the series, and honestly, if I didn't even know Kira wasn't even the main villain, I would have thought the whole series would have just been different stand users that they're facing off in Moria. I would not even known that there was going to be a main antagonist that would show up. So that's kind of like one of the main reasons why I kind of like that Stars Crusader a little bit more, just because there was, at least Dio was always this constant force, and why they would always constantly go to stand users, not just, hey, here's just different stand users every week, like that. So yeah, but I think they're probably. I don't think that they're going to keep Kira completely on the back burner, like he's just going to disappear. I think he's probably going to make an appearance, maybe in every episode or maybe other episodes, but he'll always kind of have this looming presence, kind of like Dio did in Star Wars Crusaders. That's at least what I'm hoping happens. And then after some time, and after when the guys finally manage to find Kira's new place, they finally attack Kira, and Kira's back to be the main task for, I'm assuming, the rest of the series. That's what I'm assuming anyway. So yeah, overall, love this week's episode. I won't lie, it wasn't as strong as like the last few episodes when Kira was the main antagonist, but this episode was overall really dang good. So overall, I'll give this episode a 9 out of 10, guys. And also, guys, apologies for the delay of this review. I know I made y'all wait a long ass time for this video, but I had midterms this week, and I managed to get through my series review, but then I couldn't get to do JoJo because late night I had other stuff I had to do, and I was like, okay, I gotta do my homework. I gotta start studying, man. So apologies, guys, that I made you guys wait so long for JoJo, but hey, man, midterms. Anyway, guys, so hope you all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more.